Well, I'm continuing talking with Dr. Alex Allinson, and we're dealing with all sorts of things here. Do you think there's anything we could have done differently here? Because I mean, the schools are back. I mean, we have our own bubble. Is it looking? Will there be some sort of inquiry into this and lessons learned?
Absolutely. As I said, we're going to look into the exam system. I've asked for an independent investigation in terms of Cambridge International for them to set that up. I've also reached out to the House of Commons Education Select Committee and asked them to do an investigation right across the board of the way the boards the exam boards reacted to this. But again, we've used United Kingdom exam boards in the past. I think that's still important if people are going to go over there for further education and they're well recognised qualifications. But we do need to look at increasing the resilience of our education service. One of the other things we're doing over the summer, which is happening at the moment, is looking at remote learning, so that if in the future we need to, for whatever reason, close a school or people can't get into their school, we can carry on online learning.
Yeah, you got quite a bit of feedback on that from a particular head teacher, and I interviewed that pupil, and I was shocked when I heard there was no interaction on the Zoom things or whatever. Yep. That seemed clearly a mistake as well, that you've learned from it.
I don't think it was a mistake. When you look back, people were thrust into an incredibly difficult situation very, very quickly. Yeah. There were some real examples of brilliant practice through using remote learning. We've now
could be better.
Yes, absolutely. Right. We've now done a huge amount of research. Actually, the way you provide learning is far less important than the content of that learning. And so what we need to do is have a resilient system in the future, work with all the teachers to get the right content for pupils when they need it.
Okay, working with teachers, we better just touch on that. I don't know what you can tell us all. It's an ongoing thing, but it's still unsatisfactory at the minute, it seems to be.
Absolutely. There's an ongoing dispute with all 4 teacher unions. They met with the department a month ago. At the time, we had the statement by the Treasury Minister about the dire financial situation we're in as an island and across the world, and the fact that there was no new money. I'm still committed to getting a just settlement with all the unions involved in terms of
a UK
pay.
Settlement. You go with that, yes. It's 5% or something?
Absolutely, 5.5%.
So there is new money somewhere.
In terms of new starters, and 2.75% for the upper grades.
So is new money there somewhere, or is it found?
There is. We have within our budget 2% for pay increases, a maximum of 2%. We've managed to find other money within our existing budget. Again, some of the trade unions say that I should have been more forthright with the Treasury Minister.
Should you be?
I've had conversations with him about this, but at the moment we're trying to get a just settlement in terms of pay. But it goes beyond that. I think a lot of it is that teachers feel that they haven't been listened to by the department and they haven't been respected by the department. What I'm saying as Minister is, yes, I want to listen to you, I want to meet you regularly, and I respect what you've done throughout this period and respect what you can do in the future for the young people.
That's words, it needs action.
Exactly. So we've got another meeting with the trade unions coming up early September to look again at what their wishes are to go forward, to try to resolve this dispute so we can work together in a much more collegiate and collaborative way.
That's a new year, right? September, and will there be industrial action potentially or whatever?
Well, at the moment, two out of the 4 unions are still carrying out what's called action short of strike. So that's, for instance, not taking part in meetings and not taking part in extracurricular activities. The third union at USCL are similarly restricting some of their interactions with the department. I'd like to move on from this.
You've got a Manx sort of union now, haven't you?
There has been a new union set up. Yeah. I'm not sure quite.
They're not talking to you yet?
Moment. No, they haven't talked to me personally. Right. I believe that they're trying to get registered, and once they do, they may be trying to get more members. But again, what we need to do is our existing dispute with the 4 established unions is to deal with that in a constructive way.
This was in place before you took over, wasn't it?
Unfortunately, it's been dragging on for 18 months.
Yeah.
And that's the unsatisfactory part of it. I think we need a solution to this to move on.
Do you think you can find one?
Absolutely. I think there's a huge amount of goodwill, certainly from myself and the department, but also throughout the global pandemic. I've had very good working relationships with head teachers and with the teacher unions. There is some goodwill there. I do not take that for granted, but want to build on it.
Okay, finally, let's just do back with universities. getting. There's about 200. Well, I don't. It's 2,000. I don't know how many numbers. We've all got to go back soon.
We've got around about 400 to 500 students per year. So within 3 years. So it's about 1,200 students. But then you've got postgraduate students. You've got.
But the first year, particularly, these ones, parents want to take them over. They can't without self-isolating. Any hope? Any sign of any?
Yes, we're working on that. There's the border policy. So at the moment, if you go across, absolutely fine. You come back, self-isolate for 14 days. COMIN, the Council of Ministers, have been reviewing that on a regular basis. We're due to meet again on the 3rd of September. We'll be looking at that.
You've got a view on this?
My own view is that we need to base this on evidence from other jurisdictions. So we've been particularly looking at places like Guernsey. We've got close relationships with their Department of Public Health to look at whether we can try to reduce the quarantine period and have testing at the same time.
Because UK is now having their own hotspots. I mean,
absolutely.
Could we get down to that level almost? If you're in one place, you might be okay for 7 days, and another place might be 14.
It's a very small island, and unless you become incredibly draconian with roadblocks and restricting people's movements, you can't really do. It would be very hard to do regional lockdowns on the Isle of Man, and I hope we.
I
never
think more
go
like
that
in the UK, the parents went over and they were going to a certain hotspot. Obviously, that'd be a problem. But if they go somewhere else which has got no cases, but it couldn't be.
Yeah. So in terms of the border policy, we are constantly looking at that. We are constantly updating that on the latest evidence from the United Kingdom. What we're also doing is working with the DOI to find out imaginative ways of getting people across.
Imaginative ways?
Well, whether they want to fly, how we can deal with their baggage allowance, how we can deal with these sort of things to make it as easy as possible for those students to return to university. But also recognise that, look, for a lot of parents, it is a bit of a rite of passage to drop your kid off at university for the first time. And we want to encourage that and facilitate that as much as we can. But we need to keep the population on the Isle of Man safe.
Sure. And these people are going into a situation where they've been in our own bubble here. They're going into the UK, and goodness knows, we all know what students do on their first few weeks, having a lot of interactions, don't they?
Yeah, and it is dealing with that risk. I mean, you say that. I think the class of 2020 going to university go into a very uncertain area. What all the universities have been saying is that the safety of staff and students is their key priority, as is mine for our schools and our university college. So when they get there, they may not have a freshers' fair. They may not have free drinks in the bar every night and being able
that's
to...
what I was alluding to without saying it.
And I'm sorry for that, but that's the reality, because these universities are taking our young people and want to keep them as safe as possible. And certainly, I suppose from now until Christmas, we will be going through an uncertain period. And then some of them will want to come back at Christmas time. So we need to plan ahead for this and make it as easy as possible for our young people to be able to come back and forth.